Yo, welcome to Containing Luxury. Today we're going to be installing our cabinetry, which you can kind of see I've got some of it in, but we'll show you how to do the base and the uppers. So let's get started. When we're putting our upper cabinets in, we want to pull a measurement off of, because keep in mind, container might be moving from point A to point B, not completely leveled. So I'm not using a level again to level my upper cabinets. I'm going off of these base cabinets, which are virtually sitting tight to the floor. So I'm gonna pull a measurement off the top of my cabinet. I'm gonna go 18 inches. And I'm gonna make another spot down here, 18 inches, and then I'm just gonna connect the dots. And the reason I'm doing 18 inches is because I still have a countertop to go in here. And if you're using a solid stone, that can be anywhere from 2 cm to 3 cm, which is virtually 3/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit thicker, to 1 1/4 inches, all the way up to 1.5 inches. So standard height between your countertop and the bottom of your cabinet is going to be between 16 and 18 inches. So I always just go 18 inches off my cabinet to the line that I'm gonna level across, so that after I put countertops in, I'll be somewhere around 17 inches from the finished countertop to the finish of the bottom of the cabinet. So let's start hanging them. So when we're putting the cabinets up, the upper cabinets up, we know when we mount an electrical box that we're usually gonna find that the box was mounted directly to a stud. So I'll either have one approximately right here to the right of the stud or to the outlet, or to the left of the outlet. So I can use that as a reference point to first guess where I'm going to find a stud. So then when I have a good idea, what I can do is to make sure I don't penetrate through the drywall too far is I shorten my bit down, because I know that any electrical or plumbing lines I have are definitely going to be deeper than that width right there, their depth, 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch. So then what I can do is, where I know I'm going to be behind my cabinet, I can go ahead and drill a hole. And once I get through that drywall, I'm not drilling anymore. But that, I know my drywall is not that thick. So I definitely don't have a stud right there. But you can see if I go a little bit over to the side here and I drill, now I'm hitting something right there is one of my studs. It's definitely not gonna be a pipe. It's not gonna be electrical based on what we showed you in the previous videos. All that plumbing and all that electrical needs to be well beyond what you can potentially hit with a screw. So if I'm only 1/2 inch in, I'm hitting a stud for sure. So once I find that stud, I now wanna go a little bit over to the right. I'm still hitting it there. Now a little bit further, that's the edge of it right there. So I know I caught the edge of it here, I didn't get it here, and then this is the edge of it. So the center of my stud is smack dab in the middle of those guys. That's the center of my stud. So now I can, transform that from here to the back of my cabinet, pre-drill my holes, get the screws already set in the cabinet. So when I pick it up, set it on the wall, I can just put my screw right in, it's gonna catch. Because if I can get 1, 2 screws, then I can at least get my hands free, adjust things, get everything where I want them and screwed in. Tyler said I only have 15 seconds to film this because I talk too much. So the best, quickest way to install a door is going to be actually closing the hinges. You can always mount your hinges first, but you have to take them off in order to screw the faces of the cabinet together. So I just put it on and then I flip it open. If you're screwing these in with an impact, do not over tighten it. So you wanna set it on 1 if you have settings, speed settings. This is like the gingerliest install. Otherwise, a screwdriver, if you're not confident, in your skills, you do not want to over tighten these. So when I'm putting them in, I'm just tacking them ever so slightly. All right, so we've got our countertops in, and what you can kind of see is they changed color as we were putting that clear coat on. And you want to go ahead and sand them as good as possible, but don't get too crazy with it. Don't be using a belt sander or anything. You can do it by hand or you can use a palm sander, but always go with the grain when you're doing that. If you go side to side on some of this butcher block, you're actually going to cut grooves into it and you'll see it. So just keep note of that when you're doing this. Other than that, a wipe-on polyurethane works out really well. It's a furniture grade finish. It's really easy, so you don't see those brush marks when you try and apply a heavy coat of polyurethane. But if you're okay with that, that is the best type of sealant. But any rough spots you feel, you can actually hit it after you've clear coated it with like an 800 grit sandpaper, something that's super, super fine, and it will polish it. And then you can go ahead and wipe on another coat, but just make sure you remove all that dust because it will leave it kind of feeling like sandpaper if it gets into that clear coat at all. Okay, so our cabinets are in, countertops are in, and we got our kitchen sink installed. We still got a few little finishing touches to finish up here and there, but for the most part, we're ready to go. So if you guys have any questions as far as the cabinet install goes, countertops install, anything that we missed, just make sure to hit those comments. We'll try and get back to you as soon as we can. If not, make sure to subscribe to our videos and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, guys.